Heading over to the Premier League, Manchester City lose their 5th straight game, and despite a close call, Liverpool defeated last place Southampton to take a commanding 8-point lead in the Premier
Yeah.
League.
Well, now the magic is completely gone, clearly, and Pep Guardiola needs to retire immediately. Otherwise, City will never win a game again. I mean, who did he piss off? Like, what did he get cursed around Halloween or something? Did a witch cast a spell on Pep Guardiola and City? Because how else do you explain? Look,
I got to say, I was the most wrong I've been since this show started. We're at our 2-month anniversary of doing the show, by the way.
Yeah,
And I said without any hesitation that Manchester City was going to come back from the international break and just beat the brakes off of their first opponent after Pep got all this time to prepare.
right.
And that did not happen.
No, but Spurs are their bogey team. Like, this has been a thing. This is not new that they struggle with Spurs, and give Spurs credit for making a statement with that game. We do wonder, and I'm sure there'll be more roller coaster ups and downs for Tottenham Hotspur this season. But this is, this is obviously a team that can play at this level when they put it all together. To imagine that they would beat City 4-0 at the Etihad was. Maybe that was beyond what anybody expected, 1 or 2, or okay, yeah, they went 2-1. They beat City. Wow, great. But now the upshot is, you mentioned it here, because Liverpool won. Now the upshot is the title race over? I know you probably can't say that, Rob. I think that's probably testing the soccer gods a little too much.
Yeah, you can't. You don't want to mess with them soccer gods. They are cruel. They are very cruel.
Yeah, they do. They bring vengeance down upon you if you mess with them, if you get too cocky.
But don't even over celebrate a goal. I mean, nothing.
8 points. I know it's 12 matches. It is 8 points. When City has come back from 5-point deficits before and won the title, it has happened. And I really do need to kind of dig into Liverpool's fixture list to see where their biggest moments of concern might be. You do have the Mo Salah contract thing hanging over Liverpool on some level, but they have enough talent, and Slot's got them playing solid defensive soccer for the most part. I mean, besides the 2 goals they gave up to Southampton yesterday, this is a team that knows how to defend as much as they are attacking in waves with this group of talent. So I don't see a reason to doubt them right now, because I don't think anybody else is good enough. Now that City's dropped 3 in a row in the league, Chelsea, a nice team, young, still working their way through it. It's a good win. Nicholas Jackson seemed to be coming into his own as a truly elite Premier League striker. Maybe people didn't have that on their bingo card. We know Arsenal is fallible, right? Everybody has lots of defects, except maybe Liverpool right now.
Dimitri in the comments said that it's all turned around for City since Erling Haaland told Arteta to be humble, which is a good point.
Yeah.
Looking at Liverpool's fixture list, not Premier League, but on Wednesday they face Real Madrid. And in Premier League, this is probably a big one. And I think Pep Guardiola reacted in the press conference. Liverpool versus Manchester City next Sunday, December 1st. So they were the reporters were saying, if Liverpool wins next weekend, it's 11-point gap. Is that too big? And he was just like, yeah.
Wow, he's nothing if not brutally honest, even about his own team. I think Pep does that. I think he's pretty good at that. I mean, he's allowed to be brutally honest because he wins enough and they win titles all the time. And you can just kind of say, yeah, it's and sometimes he's doing it in a reverse psychology way. He'll say something about City like, oh yeah, it's too much. We're done. That's a really good team. This might be too far to win it. And then they win the title. And you're just like, okay, fine, whatever. But again, so much of that is the slips that other teams make, right? Arsenal, and look, obviously, when you have a team like City, you sort of set a target. Like, okay, they're going to get to 90 points. More often than not, they're going to get to 90 points. So then it's, can you, as the chaser, make sure you even out those bumps? Because if you lose to Nottingham Forest, you lose to Ipswich, you lose to Southampton, when you are a title contender, you're probably not winning the title. Those things usually come back to bite you. Now, Liverpool's proven that not to be the case because they have managed to make up for the loss against Forest at home with some other results. So, and injuries are a problem for everybody, but especially for City and especially for Arsenal right now. So, or has been an issue for Arsenal. So this does look like Liverpool has inside track, but nothing is done. You mentioned that Manchester City and Liverpool in the massive game on a Sunday. Circle that on your calendars. We'll all be watching to see if Liverpool can effectively put the dagger in.
In one of my group chats, when Liverpool were down 2-1 to Southampton, they were saying that Liverpool are allergic to stretching any kind of a lead. And I was like, you're not wrong. And I'm just, as a Liverpool fan, I assume that Manchester City is just going to win the entire second half of the calendar.
Yes, right. That's and it's, you wouldn't put it past them to do it, right? You don't look at I have to look again. I have to look at their fixture list. Okay, so we've got Liverpool next weekend at Anfield. Then they're home to Forest, away to Palace. They have the Champions League against Juve.
Palace haven't been a straightforward team for City in the past either.
No, and Selhurst Park is always a vibe, right? There's something to that. Then they've got United at the Etihad. Again, this December is so crazy in the Premier League that you kind of feel like you either make up all your points here or you drop more and that's it. It's cooked. You hit the new year basically knowing the race is over. If it stays like this, right? If it's 8 when we get to January 1st, I think everybody will be effectively, handing the trophy to Liverpool. But there's a lot of soccer to be played, and Liverpool's got their own busy calendar, so let's see.
Farther down the table, a new era started at Manchester United. Ruben Amorim got his side a 1-1 draw against Ipswich. And I think the highlight for me of that experience was the post-game quote, "We are set to suffer for a long period."
Well, there's that. And there's also the fact that his interview with Sky got interrupted by Ed Sheeran, noted Ipswich Town fan, who just walked on. Like, okay, I know when you're Ed Sheeran and you have access to the entire world because you're Ed Sheeran, you maybe are just like, oh, look, there's my buddy over there. Was it Jamie Redknapp? My buddy over there. I'm going to go say hi to him. And it's like, Ed, they're interviewing Ruben Amorim, right? Like right now, like what do you think's happening why do you think there are cameras and microphones? Ed, are you that daft? Like, I'm going to use the word that they might. What's going on, Ed? Like,
it's been a bit of a plonker. Don't
you have a Christmas single to push or something? Isn't that a big deal to be the top of the pops in England on Christmas? Come on, Ed, what are you doing here? But no, the result itself, I think that there was, and this is not based in fact, this is just the emotion of it, but it kind of felt like the new manager bump came when Ruud was in charge, right? And then you kind of wonder, can they keep it up after the international break with Ruben Amorim, when all the headlines, all the stories around him are, it's going to be a long process to fix this club. And he's not going to get any money in January. He's not going to be able to go out and sign anybody to help make United better. So what else could you expect? Now, I do think it's pretty ugly that your first result is a draw to Ipswich, considering, where Ipswich is in the table and who they are and the fact they were a promoted club. It's not great for Amorim. We'll see, though, because United, they made a choice here, right? They could have allowed Ruud to finish out at least the calendar year. They could have chosen him to be the interim manager, the caretaker for the remainder of the season. That's a long time for a caretaker, don't get me wrong. But you also have, you have the vibes, you have this new spirit. The dour Dutchman is gone, bringing this other Dutchman who's got more happiness about him or whatever Ruud his story brings to the table. Whatever it was better. And now you have a situation where it's like, I don't know, like it was a substitute teacher and everybody felt like the mood had lightened. And now they're like, well, we hired somebody and he's going to come in and crack the whip. And everybody knows that's going to happen. And yeah, I don't know, Rob.
Yeah, because now he's coming in like we're gonna have to change all the players. So everyone that was there, like, hey, we have this the substitute teacher, and like you said, we're just gonna like have the best recess ever.
Yeah, we're going outside for class. Well, it's letting us bring snacks to lessons. And now Ruben's like, no, you don't, none of that, and you're probably getting kicked out of here in like 6 months. So be ready for that. Like, how are you supposed to be happy?
So after 12 matches, Manchester United in 12th on 16 points. The bottom 3 remain Ipswich, Crystal Palace, Southampton. And at the top of the table, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and Arsenal. That should do it for long balls here on Monday, a holiday week here. Be sure as you head into Thanksgiving, hit subscribe, Morning Kick Around on the YouTubes. And then on the X and Instagram, follow right along M Kick Around on those platforms. Thinking of adding some more platforms over the long weekend. So be sure to get locked in on those.
Do that and then follow me on Blue Sky at Davis Jason. There you go.